everyone needs someone in their corner. You know that as per Gallup data, 300 million people doesn't have a single friend. 300 million.
Welcome to episode number 18 of the 100 Successful Women, a Conversation to Inspire series. I am really grateful to you who are now watching the video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss our new episode coming up next. So in today's episode, I have another beautiful woman joining us on our conversation. Preetah Bolaky is one of my Facebook friends whom connected by Anthony Ewing from the Web Doctors. Aside from being Facebook friends with Preetah, we did do courses together, and she had just recently won a speaking competition. Congratulations to you once again, Preetah. So Preetah is the founder of KickAss Buddy. KickAss Buddy is a system Preetah created to provide her clients with a supporting system to help them with their transformation. Aside from being a coach, Preetah also is a business strategist. She has helped women to unlock their earning potential. She has shared with us a lot of golden nuggets in the conversation coming up next. Hello, good morning, Preetah. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. Thanks, Vivienne. Hi, everyone watching. Hi, Vivienne. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
That's okay. I'm so grateful that you are here. And then I know that you're super busy yourself as well. I'm feeling really appreciating that you are here with me today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I am knowing Preetah also through our lovely Anthony. He is so sweet that he is connecting a few successful women to me. So today I am happy that Preetah is joining us today. So Preetah, do you mind to introduce yourself a little bit so that our listener can get to know you more?
Yes, of course. Thank you. It's an honor being part of that 100 Successful Women podcast. Thanks, Vivienne, again. I'll say Preetah is that confident woman who knows what she wants in life compared to what she used to be in her teenage life. The shy, tall girl. That I was the tallest girl in my class, and it's funny, they used to call me giraffe.
Oh dear.
I remember doing some research of how to be shorter because I was different from other girls, and I realized that it's so funny that until I realized that in my early 20s that my favorite animal actually is a giraffe.
Uh-huh.
So I started reading more. I've noticed that they were not only impressive or inspiring to look at, but their height allows them to reach tall trees and give them access to a wider range of food sources and a wide field of vision, especially detect predators from far and avoid danger. And I was like, oh, that's how they compare me to that animal, and do you know that according to some studies, a giraffe saliva has the potential to be considered as a treatment, of autoimmune disease?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but but I'm thinking that if I'm seen as a giraffe, so what is true is I definitely have the potential and want to be seen as an impact to make other people's lives better.
That's so lovely, because it's always a case like that. When we were young, we didn't realize that that's our potential, right? Because it was always because when we were young, we wanted to be accepted. We wanted to be in the group, but then
Exactly.
yeah, because you feel that you are different, then you probably become that lower self-esteem side because you wanted to be accepted, you wanted to be seen. But in actual fact, it's actually we should be proud to be someone different.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like, at that time I felt like, why am I so tall? I remember taking pictures during my primary school, and then I was always behind because I was more tall than the guys. And I used to hate doing group pictures. I used to hate it. And then I realized that actually, when I'm in a concert, I can see better than others, and I realized to see the advantage of being tall. And it really made me realize that you need to accept yourself how you are, and be confident, and know that you're here for a reason. And whatever you're different from other people because you have something different, a different mission from others. And I think once you realize that, once you work on it, you can see just the advantage of being, different from others.
I love that. It's always like it's always that you are the star in the middle, which people might be thinking, I wish I'm as tall as Preetah. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Actually, when I used to think, oh, will I get a boyfriend? I'm so tall. And it's amazing how, when I was talking to guys who were short, and they're like, oh, actually, I really would like to go out with a tall girl. And I was like, oh, actually, I do have that advantage, and how people see me is very different what I had in my mind. And yeah, it's just funny now when I think about me going searching how to become shorter, what to do. And now I just, I just embrace that height. And my husband always want me to wear high heels. And that part that you realize that being with the right person, being with the right people around you uh be um make you be how would I say, proud of being who you are.
People who love you for being you,
Exactly.
that's the most important, and I love that. Yeah. So I think you had a similar experience as I am, because I always thought that I'm on your totally opposite side. You are the tall girl, but I'm one of the fat girl in the class. And I always thought that people is laughing at me because I'm fat, because I'm wearing glasses. But then growing up, we tend to realize that that was only happened because we were younger. And then we create that image or create that story within ourselves. But in actual fact, people might be loving you, but then we are creating our own story.
Yeah, we are. Indeed. It does take time, or sadly, that you don't realize it during when you're younger. But yeah, with time you realize that you are who you are. And if you don't accept yourself, who can accept you? I think that's a very good sentence that I keep on, reminding myself. If I don't love myself more than any other people, then how can I expect someone else to love me more than they love other people? And I think that's very deep.
That's right. Yeah, it's always important for us to accept ourselves, love ourselves first before others can show their love to us. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story with us, Preetah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So I know that you also have a program or a group which called KickAss Buddy.
Right.
So what can you tell us a little bit more about this KickAss Buddy?
KickAss Buddy, I think, it all started with my dad, who taught me the value of friendship. And even he's not there, God bless his soul, his friends are still in contact with us and present in our life. And I grew up having that value and respect for having a friend by your side. So as I told you, I was very shy until my uni life. I met that amazing person who is not only my best friend now, but is a part of who I am today. So it's been a wonderful friendship of, 20 years. And without realizing, we have been the buddy system for each other. And 5 years ago, when we were having one of our regular conversation and realized how much we have achieved and started talking about our goals, which was still pending. So we were like, why not making it kind of a, goal setting, a business plan, we used to call that at that time. So the one thing we definitely have in common is planning. So we were like, why don't we make our yearly goals? And once we did that, we were amazed to see how quickly we achieved our goal, and decided to test the process with more and more long-term goals, So on my side, at that time, I started doing more and more personal development courses to improve myself. 3 years ago, she told me again that I should seriously thinking about coaching people, as I was being encouraged by my mentors as well. And they could see how passionate I was for being there for others. So I started having that goal of making a difference in people's life. I started thinking about it. How can I impact people? And the first year, my goal was about helping 10 people. And it increases to 20 people last year, until I realized, that my passion was much more than that. It was the mission of my life. So I asked myself, what is the mission of your life? And it was about creating movement of positive impact. As I strongly believe that everyone needs someone in their corner. I realized that I was very lucky to have that KickAss buddy system. And when reading, do you know that as per Gallup data, 300 million people doesn't have a single friend? 300 million. That's a lot. And it come to my idea that why not creating that KickAss buddy community, so that no one is left out to create impact in their world. So that is my mission of life. That's how I got that idea about the KickAss buddy community.
Wow, that's such a beautiful mission that you are having there, because like you say, everyone needs someone at the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that you actually supporting people along the way. And it's a bit sad that you were mentioning 300 million.
300 million people.
They don't have a single friend. Okay, that's a bit sad to know, because people always need someone to be around there, and it is important for them to be the other people cheerleaders as well, because that's when there is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So you need someone to be there to cheer you up, to motivate you, or to like kick ass, to get just to tell you to do the things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, right. And I think why KickAss buddy is because we do have friends. Obviously, we have lots of friends. One of my clients have, lots of friends. And when I was talking to her, she didn't have one single friend that she can share her problem. So it made me realize, if you have so much friend, but you don't have a single friend that you can share your problems, your true you, so why are you having so much friends, and why KickAss buddy is very important, because we can have friends, but having that friend that can make sure that you can achieve things is very important.
That's very important. Like you say, you need accountability partners, because they will be reminding you to lift you up instead of pulling you down.
Exactly.
I love that idea. So how many do you created that as a group, or you taught them? How do you do that?
I created it as a group. It's going to be on Facebook. I'm working on it, because obviously there's lots of things to work in, how you're going to make it work, and how these people will feel comfortable at ease to share as well. So there's a lot of work behind that group as well, because it's not just a group, but it's a group that you have to give support as well. So I'm currently working on it with some people, and we do have some members already in the group. But by April, I think it will be launched.
So is there any criteria to join the KickAss Body group?
Obviously, to join, you have to be a woman. I know there was a guy who asked me why women only, because we men has to be empowered as well. But I think women does need that. It's more difficult for them to share things than men sometimes. And I think we, compared to there's some countries especially that don't have that that system to help them, to make them aware of situation that, for example, there are situations that they don't need to accept things as it is. They can voice out. And it's very important, because us living in Australia or any other developed countries, it's normal for us. We are like, yeah, we're having it. We know what to do. We know having issues, how to tackle it. But there are people in other countries and women that I've talked to who really doesn't know how to tackle it and didn't know what the world is outside and believe that they have to do what they were told. And I think that's mainly why a KickAss Buddy is to help them and not only help them, but show them that there are other women who had that issues and just move on and tackle it. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I always think that the women supporting each other, it's always bringing a lot more positivities in the world, because it's a bit sad sometimes that seeing women attacking women instead, but then the one that you're creating is actually supporting each other and helping each other to grow.
Exactly. I think you rightly said a good point, when I was growing up and I always used to be friends with guys, and even at work. The reason why, because we were told that, women won't support you, but men are more there, and I grew up like this. I'm like, okay, that girl maybe would be jealous and so on, until I realized that was the wrong, how would I say, the wrong advice that we were given, because the problem is that women doesn't share her problem. It's more difficult. Like, for example, when you go to an event, it's more easy to talk with guys because they are so open, they will come and talk to you. But women to women, we tend to think, and I've been observing that. Even it happened to me, I will be at least talking to someone in an event for work, but to go and talk to a woman, sometimes we think like, okay, and that's why I want to create. That's why I want to tell them that, you can trust other women, because the reason why is because we don't talk about it. We don't share what is happening in our lives. So we can't relate, and we're like, oh, she's doing very well. She can handle her being a good leader, a mom, and a wife. I can't do that, so I won't go and talk to her. But actually, she's working on herself and she's going through the same. So having the right platform and having the right events and so on, and I've noticed there's lots of women nowadays working on the same, telling women that, let's work together. We can achieve a lot of things. I think having that KickAss Buddy, one of the values as well is that let's empower each other, because there are certain situations that the other gender won't understand. But if you went through it and you can tell other women that, okay, this is how you should do it, and that's so amazing, of sharing that knowledge and making other people's life a bit better.
That's right.
It's important.
Yeah, that's so true. Because when you mentioned that when we were at the networking event, I remember one of our guests was actually mentioning similar things, because women tend to hide their issue, hide their problem, because that's how we were brought up as a lady. we have to be that good girl to show that we are the good girl, to show the world that we are a good mom, we are a good daughter, we are a good wife. So we tend to hide our emotions sometimes. And that's why they are not allowed to voice up. And yeah, like you say, that's why men tend to be like more, they say whatever they say, and women tend to filter what they are saying.
Yeah, because we have to be the perfect, we have to be perfect. And it reminds me of a situation like, I was reading or watching a documentary, I can't remember which one, that someone was saying that, why is women so, why women is not so confident is because, when we grow up, we have to be that perfect daughter, we have to be that perfect girl in the family. And we are not allowed to take risks, it reminds me of that. You say like, guys, I in my the way I grew up is like, you won't go and ask a boy out, right? Even if you have a crush, you won't. You will wait for that guy to come and ask you out. So it's very important because guys learn from their childhood, from very early age, how to take risks in life. Because when he is going to ask a girl out, there's 50-50%, right? But when the girl say yes, she's having that 100%. So we grew up with that, we can't take risks. And this is where we make a mistake, because we are so used on not taking risks. And then when we are in the real life, in the work life, we don't take risks because we have to be sure of. And I've learned it through my journey that, and I asked myself, why am I not taking risks compared to the men? And I realized this is because, since early age, we've been told not to take risks and to take any decision based on that, how sure you are of making it happen. And life doesn't work like this, There is many failure and there is success after the failure. And that's where we are lost, because we are not used to failure.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that sharing. And then because I think we had a similar culture, and then that's how we were brought up. And like you say, I love that you're saying that because of our so-called teaching or so-called image that we have to be perfect. If we ask the guy out, we are not a good girl. That's the thing that causes us to not taking risks. I love that one. Thank you so much for sharing that, Preetah. And also, Preetah, I know that aside from being a coach in that KickAss Buddy program or system, you are also a financial and result coach as well.
Yeah.
So prior to become a coach in this area, what were you doing?
So I've been a banker. I have over a decade of experience as a banker, and I had the great opportunity as well to co-founding a fintech company recently. And I'm also, being a coach, I'm also founder of the financial consultancy called OMniSen Consulting Limited, where we collaborate with our client to identify and develop strength and shape outcomes that lead them to successful company structure and formation and other global business services along our strategic partners. So basically, this is finance is something that I love as well, and coaching is something that I love. So I just want to blend both of them, because at the end of the day, I believe that you should do what you love doing. So finance, since I was a kid, was something that I love, and I just wanted to do both, and I blend both. And being a financial and result coach as well kept me being update of the financial side as well. Wow. Which I really love. Yeah,
love that. So what's the company name again?
OMniSen Consulting Limited.
Okay, so that help people to like to strategize their finance and setting up company?
Yeah, it's helped you to have successful company structure and formation, and like other global business services that we do.
That's nice, because like finance is, I think it's not many people is very enthusiastic about finance, especially but then it's really important to know your numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Numbers
are very important.
Yes, it's super important. But then, to be honest, I'm not very good with numbers. That's why I always think that it have to be someone that is professional in doing that, or else it's going to be a chaos. So is it for you to become a financial and result coach and having that company? What's one tips, if you can give one tips to the women out there in relation to finance? What is the tips that you can give to them?
One tip that I can give is, I would say, invest in your financial education and your personal development as well, because I believe it is very important, as with the right knowledge and skills, you can develop a long-term, financial plan that aligns you with your goals and value, but also build you the confidence and resilience to navigate the challenges and opportunity. I think this is very important, because once you know about your financial plan, being a woman, you're very confident. Sometimes I remember someone was saying, yeah, Preetah, I can do that, but what about I don't work, I'm dependent on my husband. And it doesn't make any difference, because I believe that even if you don't work, you're a housewife, you still manage the financial part, most of the women.
True.
So it's very important to see yourself as well, to come to have a discussion with your partner and what you can do, and make something. You don't need to get rewards or do a business if you don't want to, but it's also important to have that part of self-care. And then once you know your number, once you can know how much you can invest on you, then it make you more confident as well to do other things. And I've seen throughout my journey that many women who are housewives and they know what they want, they still do things, and make them happy. And sometimes they even go for business they never thought they will. It's just having that confidence. It doesn't mean that, okay, I'll do that just to make a business, to have a business. Obviously, if you don't want to, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that it helps you to know you a bit better as well. What do you want in life?
So you were saying that investing in the financial education.
Yeah, it's very important.
So in terms for the investment in the financial education, does that mean they have to go to take finance courses, or how does that?
Not necessarily. Depends what you want, right? If you want to know how to save for a house, where to invest, obviously you will have to find out the right course for you. But having that financial education in terms of what is an asset, a liabilities, basic of saving. For example, if I save in a bank or I invest it somewhere else, what's the impact, what's the outcome? I think just to know a bit better about it helps you, because it definitely helps you for your confidence as well, but also it helps you in terms of financial, where you are at, what you can do better, how you can save, just to be on top of your financial is very important.
Okay, that's a great one. So how about because you did mention about like investing, or do you have a book or a podcast that you recommend for people who wanted to know about finance, or that finance for dummies or something like that?
I don't have a podcast or anything, but I think in general there's lots of people out there helping women, helping people how to invest. Obviously you have to have a license, and you need to whoever you're watching, whoever you're taking advice from, you have to make sure that they are qualified, which is very important, because everyone out there can give you advice. But if you're taking advice like it's a large amount of money and so on, you have to make sure that you're going through people that are qualified, that know financial part of it, which is very important.
Okay, so that was for, how about, because some of our listeners, there can be someone who is not working, they're a housewife. Where should they start, you reckon?
It depends what they want to. If they want to achieve things, obviously, as a coach, I can help them of understanding their financial goals and so on. But if they want to invest on a platform, or like investment advice and so on, obviously you go through someone who's qualified in the sense having a license, because I did my MBA in financial management, so I understand the financial management part. But obviously, if you want to do other investment like large amount of money and so on, how depends what are your requirement. Obviously, so you have to go through people who has a license or platform that have a license, it's not scam and so on, which is very important of telling women out there, be careful, because not all the platforms are a good one. There's lots of scams companies around.
Yeah, that's very important to do the enough research, and maybe to get the advice from someone who is professional like Preetah. So I would say that if anyone would like to find more information, it's better to check with you, because you are the professional, and obviously you know the numbers, you know where to search for this information, I would say. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for that advice, Preetah. And I know that you do have clients that you work with. What is some of the common challenges that you see in your clients?
One of the challenges, I'll say, identifying their goals.
Okay.
I've noticed that, and it happened to me as well. I remember when I went for my first coaching session, and the coach was asking me, I was building my financial company, and he, sorry for that, and he was asking me, so what is your plan? So how many clients do you want? And lots of questions, right? I was like, oh, I just want to have the company because I know I have clients. I've been a banker before. But that's not it, right? When he was talking to me, I realized that I didn't have a specific goal. And I think that challenges, I saw it with my clients as well, because sometimes we have that difficulty identifying goals, that they want to achieve or determine what they want to focus on. And when we have that conversation, you realize that in the beginning you had that goal, but at the end, it's something completely different. And I think that's one of the main challenge. And I'll say the second challenge is resistance to change. Obviously, it happened to me as well. When you have to go out of a comfort zone. I remember recently, my coach, she was telling me to do something, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. And she was like, you have to do it. And I'm like, no, I won't be able. Can we skip that step? And I see it in my clients as well, because we have that fear of not being able to hold ourselves accountable. We have that fear of saying that, what if I say yes and I can't make it, So that resistance to change, it happened to everyone, And how to overcome it, I think that's a coach responsibility. And I'll say the last one will be massive and immediate action. Because, massive and immediate action, actually can be very risky, For example, you're talking to someone and you're telling them, you have to do that. They're like, how, that can be risky. And when you're telling the client that they have to go out of the comfort zone, they are like, how can I do that? In 90 days, in 180 days, I've been having that problem how many years, and how can you tell me to do it right now? Will it really happen? And until you don't have that experience, you have that fear, right? I confidently say it can change your life because I went through it. I've seen the result, but other people doesn't know. Now I remember having that client who she didn't know about coaching. She didn't understand that, and she was on that college. She wanted to change her life, and she felt overwhelmed. Her reaction was she felt overwhelmed by the scope of the changes. What's gonna happen? Can I achieve the goal or not? But that's the challenge. But once you do that first step of that massive and immediate action, then you're like, yeah, the sky is the limit. And I think that's why we coaches, we are here to help them overcome these challenges.
Yeah, the first step is always the hardest one.
Exactly.
Yeah, once you do
it, it becomes.
Yes, that's right. Wow, that's so common in people who, I love that you're saying resistant to changes. That's something that a massive one for people as well. And love that you being a coach to guide them and push them to do that things.
I think us being coaches as well, we went through it. So it's easier to relate, to understand their feeling, what they're going through. And I think that's how many coaches become coaches, because they went through it and they want to help the world,
Yeah.
Because
true.
they know that if they didn't have that KickAss buddy, I'll say, they wouldn't be here. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's so true. 100%. The coaches is always their first clients themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your professional part of your life. And that's very helpful for people out there. If anyone wanted to go for finances, or you're looking for someone to kick ass with you, you should be getting in touch with Preetah. So Preetah, if you have to share someone or something that is your biggest inspiration in your life, what will or who will that be?
Without hesitation, I'll say my mom. Why my mom? I got married in my early 30s, and I've lived in that Asian community, like Asian, how would I say? Community. And I've been living with my mom till I got married. So I can say I've been with her for 30 years of my life. So most of my life I've been staying with her. And what I like about her is that she has always pushed beyond the perceived limitation, achieve the thing that, how would I say, achieve great thing. The way she overcome the significant challenge and obstacle in her life, and especially after my dad's death, I've seen that she really demonstrated her resilience and her strength of character, and that really inspired me, because she could have been very sad and just complain about her life, because she was in her, I would say, early 40s when she lost my dad. But she had that strength of making it better. She was back to her studies. She created her company, and she motivated us to be who we are today. She didn't let go, and she didn't look for sympathy from others, because she believed that she wanted to make my dad proud of raising two girls, and that's why she's my biggest inspiration, because she has already inspired me to be a better person, and she's actually my biggest cheerleader, and that's why she's my biggest inspiration, because I grew up having that strength. I grew up seeing good in bad things, and I grew up seeing that positive in everything happening to us, and I think I owe her for who I am today.
I love that. In fact, a few guests that attend having the conversation with me, it's their mom who is their biggest inspiration, and that's the beauty of like the importance that moms is inspiring their daughter. And then it made me remember a speech that recently done by Michelle Yeoh, the first Asian who win the Oscar, and she say moms is the most special one. Without moms, no one will be here.
That's so true.
Yeah, love that. It's so it's once that women that decided that they wanted to do something, they can be very resilient. They can be the strong person when they needed to, I would say.
Yeah, I think we take a lot of things on us, but once we made our mind, once we are committed, nothing can change your destiny. And I think that's the beauty of women, you know, once we decide to take something on, despite all the problems, and then we make sure that we make sure that we make the things happen. It's so beautiful. And I've seen so many women, you know, I remember having someone talking to me, and she went through a lot for years and years and years, domestic violence and being cheated and so on. And once she decided to take that decision of leaving, so many people was against her, you know, but she still do it. She was so determined of doing it. And it's powerful. It's many people doesn't see it, but I saw that, you know, that very powerful, because you've been entering all this pain for years and years, and we're talking about 20-30 years plus, and all of a sudden you take that decision. Despite this, you have so many people against you, but you're not going back, and it's very powerful, you know.
Yeah, indeed very powerful. That's why I always tell everyone that every woman, there is a lioness living within them, waiting to be unleashed until probably they make the decision, they make the determination, and it will be unleashed. Don't ever step on this lioness tail, or else it will be in trouble, right?
Exactly. I think you find the right name.
I love that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then another thing that I would like to ask you is that, is there anything that in your life that is one challenges that you're facing right now, and how do you normally tackle the challenge?
I think one challenge right now, I think, is creating that KickAss buddy community, because you know, as I told you, most people fear a lot about telling their problems. They do not feel safe, or feel constantly, you know, being judged by their action, not being the best mom, not being the best wife, not being the best employee, and so on. And this is the challenge of telling these women that they can have a safe place. And how I am tackling it, obviously, I'm trying to create that safe and non-judgment space where they feel comfortable to explore their thoughts and feeling, which is very important. And I think, for example, you know, when I'm doing that KickAss buddy community, for me, what is important is anonymous posts, because there's many women out there who don't want to tell their name, or want to voice out, needs help, but don't want anyone to know about them. And I think creating that space is very important to me. And you know, and having that community and be there together to help us impact each other's lives is important. So I'm working on it, and I think this was mainly because through my previous clients who, I remember she had that result, but however, she was not comfortable to do a testimonial for me, a video testimonial, because she was still scared, and which I totally understand, because she doesn't want her family or her friends or anyone know what she's going through. And that's why anonymous post is very important, because then if they are not ready, they're not ready to share their knowledge, or they are ready to share their knowledge without anyone knowing their name, then we should be able to create that safe environment.
Yeah, just respect their privacy until they are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very good, that, and it's very looking forward for you to create that more community in that KickAss body, and then it's going to empower a lot more women. I believe so.
Thank you so much.
And then if you could go back to your 18 years old Preetah, what would you tell her?
If I could go back, I would tell her lots of things. But I think
what is the one thing that you will tell her?
I would say, don't be afraid to take risks and pursue your passion, even if it means going out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And also I will say that, remember that you're worthy of love, success, respect, no matter what.
That's such a beautiful message for your 18 years old self.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for your time with us, Preetah. I'm so mindful of the time. I know that you did you need to rest as well. So before we wrap up our conversation today, is there anything or one piece of advice you would like to give to all our listeners or the women out there?
Yeah, I think it's my mission, obviously, and it will be everyone needs someone in their corner. And I will end this asking a question to these women is, how committed are you to have a KickAss buddy in your corner?
Okay, so how committed are you have a KickAss buddy in your corner? That's so good. And then will you be able to maybe include the link to join the group later?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's great. So I'm going to include that in the description later. So is there anything else that you would like me to ask that I haven't asked yet, Preetah?
No, I think maybe what I would like to say is, maybe people will be asking, what did KickAss buddy do? And I think I would like to mention that, a KickAss buddy helps you to unleash your limitless potential and turn your wildest dream into reality. And I believe that in the power of a buddy system, where a true KickAss buddy not only shows what they can do for you, but also who they can help you to become. They will uplift you, inspire you, reach new heights, and you never thought it was possible, and bringing the best version of yourself.
Well, that's so important to have a KickAss buddy. That's so many benefits for you to have one, and make sure you reach out to Preetah to find out more about that KickAss buddy program. And where can they find you online?
I'm on Facebook. They can find me on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to share my link too.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to include the link later when we have the video. And then I wanted to say a big thank you to you again, Preetah, for your time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivienne, for that opportunity. And especially thank you for making this podcast and empowering women and help them, to take decision. I'm sure in every podcast that you're doing, you're impacting lives. Thank you so much.
without you ladies, I won't be able to have this, but I'm so grateful each and every one of you have your wisdom, have your knowledge, and you guys are being so willing and humble to share. That's the things that I am so appreciative, and I'm so grateful to have you all here.
Thank you.
All right. I'm looking forward to find out more about that kick-ass body and maybe to have you again in our next conversation.
Thank you. I look forward.
Bye
Bye.
for
Bye,
now.
everyone.